knows this is the right thing to do, and they've been pushing the initiatives for consolidating for years. The formula is built in to give us more money for the state aid if we're a unit school district. That is in there. The state also supports this consolidation with incentive money, $1 million per year for 4 years. One larger district, obviously we ought to be able to negotiate better than 3 smaller individual districts in all categories. Once this consolidation is approved by the voters, there will be a transition team appointed. That was also one of the items discussed when we met with Dr. Diver. Who's going to assist with this transition team? He says that's his job. He will make sure he assists with that team. So that was one of the concerns we had with meeting with Dr. Diver. Not always discussing the viable of this tax rate, because we know it's viable. We don't need to discuss that. Total reorganization incentives. If you noticed, again, I commented on where this slide come from, or our committee commented. It's slide 48 of the consultant's presentation. Total incentives is $4 million, 4.2. And I want to point out, since 1983, the state of Illinois has paid out $155 million for us to consolidate school districts. You can see where that data source is from, and they have paid every penny of that, except they was a little late under our famous Rod Blagojevich era. But they were paid. They were late payments, but they were made. More than Bethalto, and we educated, you can see it, 500 and some less. Do them numbers add up? That's data that cannot be disputed. What do we know? This is stuff we do know. Over the last 9 years, our average school tax rate is 30% higher than our neighbors. Over the last 9 years, on average, our administrators' cost is 55% higher than our neighbors. Over the last 9 years, on average, our HT scores have been the lowest of all our neighbors, and they are actually been the lowest every year. Over the last 9 years, our average ISAT scores are in the bottom 3 of our neighbors. And over the last 9 years, our average overall state test scores are in the bottom 4 of our neighbors. That's where the true numbers lie. Do we need a change? The definition of insanity by Albert Einstein is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We believe this is insane if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to get different results for our children. The big questions come up recently. Is there enough money? Is there enough money in this tax rate? I'll stand before you today and I'll tell you absolutely, and I'll prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Here it is. The current tax money in all 3 school districts ring in right now is $9,698,796. Now, I want to caution you about one thing. You can't go find this number real easily on the state report card, because the number you see is skewed a little bit. Because the number you see on the state report card includes what's called corporate property replacement tax. That's included in that number. Okay, so the number you see, this number here we're talking, that comes from your local tax dollars. That's what come out of your pocket to pay. So these 3 districts collected $9 million. We've talked about it, even though our opponent said we were going to raise the rate originally. We ain't raising the rate, we're lowering the rate. So does that lower the tax money? Absolutely. Here's what that new tax rate will bring in is $8,645,919. And I want to bring your attention to something. We've told the public, and it's on our material, that your tax rate is going to be 5.35. We built in a fudge factor to begin with because we never want to be caught below a number or above a number we stated. So the number that is calculated off of, 5.2465, is actually the lowest one, which is going to be the Wood River Hartford rate. So again, I want to give you, that's the fudge factor we built into this. That's what that number comes out. You see that's a difference of $1,052,000. That's what we reduced off the taxpayers. Now let's go down these columns a little bit more. Let's talk about the salary incentive. Through consolidation, and it is not guaranteed. I want to make this point back. It is not guaranteed. Because who decides this again?
School board.
The new school board. But history will tell us that when you consolidate a school, that the teachers will be brought up, normally, history will tell us, they're brought up to everybody goes to the highest pay scale. The highest pay scale is the high school. So we want to make sure we build that into a number. If I want to obligate this new school board something, I want to make sure I can hold to it a little bit. Let's look at this. So that takes that number to $1,586,000. Okay? Now let's add in the GSA increase, because in reality, let's think about this. The only two things that are changing on this is the tax dollars coming into this district and the GSA that we're getting in general state aid that everybody else is already getting. So let's do them two numbers. $700,000 here, our $1,052,000, our salary increase here comes to $1,586,000, and we have an administration savings of $787,000 over there. That brings you to a grand total difference of $99,502, or two positions at $50,000 salary and a benefit package. And I believe salary and benefit package at $50,000 is being real generous. So let's look at this. The question is, where did the administration savings come from? We're going to show you that. Right now, these are administration costs. If you look at the 2010 report cards, you will see a 7.1% cost for their administration. Their expenditures for that school district for that year, you see there. That number will come out $574,000. As you can see, you bring the column down, the total of all three of our districts for administration costs is $1,979,000 in administration costs. Now, there's a lot of things that fall in the administration cost category, but that's what our administration costs are. Well, let's look at down here. The state of Illinois average is 3.2% to 2010. Okay? Roxana School District, a unit school district that sits right next to us, that is really almost a direct comparable to us in size and everything else, has an administration rate of 4.4%. We didn't use that number. We didn't use the 3.2 and we didn't use the 4.4. We used a 5% number. And the reason why we used the 5%, that's all of our comparables averaged out to a 5%. Again, we are giving the benefit of the doubt in our calculations. So that's how it comes out. Let's look at this next one. For the people that really don't want to go do a lot of research, there's a real easy way to see if this is a viable tax rate. All right? We already told you at this tax rate, our proposed budget will bring in about $23,851,223. That's real close to what the Telegraph put in their print. Right? Let's look at that. We'll divide that by how many students in our district we'll have. That's 2,166 students. You will come up, we will be spending $11,011 per student. Let's look at the rest of these districts where they lie. Look at Alton, $11,736, Bethalto, $9,354, Bunker Hill, $8,796. You can see the numbers yourself. You tell me we're cutting this school district short. We will still be spending more money per pupil than every school district around, including Edwardsville. Tell me how we're cutting a school district short. Let's look at another issue in reference to this. The two that are spending more money than we are, and I can clearly go to the 2010 report cards and show you why. When you look at the data, it clearly sees why. What happened in Alton in recent years? They built a new school and they just done a bunch of major upgrades. Who's paying for that? Them residents are now paying for it, and that cost per pupil. That's where that, it clearly shows it in the data when you look at it. How about Southwestern? The poorest school district around in EAV. They're spending $13,000 per kid in the 2010 school year. Why is that? They just built a new grade school in Medora. That's how their numbers are higher than ours. So tell me how this can't work. It's simple as that right there. We need your help. Consolidation is best for our children, best for our residents, best for our businesses, and it's best for our communities. It will allow us to compete as equals with our neighbors.